Season 2 has been unleashed from Pandora's box, bringing powerful gods and goddesses onto our island. But with secrets scattered throughout Olympus and the underworld, and a prophecy foretold of an apocalypse caused by Zeus, we have a lot to dive into. Consider using my code TLL the Reaper in the item shop or to buy the Season 2 Battle Pass, and without further ado, let's explore our brand new storyline. Last season ended with Valeria being drawn to Pandora's box, like a moth to a flame. When a mysterious titan ripped its hand through the ground to dangle the big box in front of our faces, we did the most logical thing anyone would do. We opened fire. After less than 24 hours, the box dropped to the ground and opened, but what it unleashed wasn't something we previously expected. Instead of just evils from the underworld, the entirety of the Greek Pantheon flew out. As a result, Olympus and the underworld are now on our island, housing tons of gods and goddesses. After the society ruthlessly ruled the island and Valeria unearthed an ancient powerful artifact, it's about time we got some reinforcements. Zeus and the rest of the gods are finally here to save us, right? Actually, it's quite the opposite. Let me introduce you to our main storyline quests of the season, led by a hidden figure named the Oracle. For this part of the video, I'm just going to read off the dialogue that she has, but at the end of the video, I'll put together all of her voice lines so you can hear them for yourself. Upon starting our adventure by using a scrying pool on the island, we can hear a voice talk back to us. This figure introduces themselves as the Oracle, and the very first thing they tell us is that Zeus's wrath is upon us, and we must prove humanity's worth to him and the guardians of Olympus before the skies turn black. Right off the bat, we can tell that Zeus isn't the good guy that we thought he might be when he arrived. According to the Oracle, he wants to completely end mortal kind, which is to say, everyone except the gods and goddesses. Of course, it would be next to impossible for us to defeat him alone, so our main goal for this season is to unite immortals across the island to fight back against him, and to save humanity from being wiped out. Pretty crazy storyline, right? Here on the channel, we were speculating that the island would be caught right in the middle of a conflict between Olympus and the underworld, but as it turns out, the Olympians are actually evil and want to end us all entirely. But that's not completely true. All of the current Olympians are on the island as NPCs we can talk to, and what they say in these interactions could be the beginnings of the alliance we must form. Before we get to all that though, we have to move along the Oracle questline. As we complete quests for the Oracle, she eventually tells us that the other Olympians are beginning to take notice of our strength, and she'll let us know when an Olympian is ready to hear us out on our plead for mercy. And with that, the part 1 quests come to an end. While it may seem like there wasn't much to that, there's a lot more to unpack than you think, and some pretty revealing leaks about the future parts to these quests. To sum up part 1, the Olympians being here isn't actually a good thing. Zeus wants to end all mortal kind, and being the king of Olympus, the other gods and goddesses are following suit. But the end of these quests implies that they may eventually go rogue and join our alliance to save the island. Earlier in the video, I mentioned that all of the Olympians are also NPCs on the island, and reveal important information about what their true intentions are. So before I reveal what the future parts of the Oracle questlines are, let's move on to the next part of the video. Are the rest of the Olympians evil? To start off, let's figure out Artemis, the goddess of the hunt. Her NPC description describes her as honorable and fair, specifically mentioning that she believes no one should break the rules of the hunt no matter how powerful they think they are. This is very clearly a reference to the gods, but let's continue into her actual dialogue. This season, Fortnite introduced a brand new mechanic allowing us to ask questions to NPCs, which is a fantastic way to tell the story even further. When asking Artemis about Zeus, she says that while she honors him as their leader, she has her doubts. She disagrees with his hatred for mortals and his desire to destroy all mortal kind. These doubts are all we need in order to form cracks in Olympus and to rebuild a better alliance alongside these Olympians. Special dialogue that can be found when talking to Artemis as different characters also reveals some interesting things. She says to Zeus, "Why do you rob our quarry of their right as a prey?" Which is essentially saying, why would you ruthlessly just hunt down the mortals without allowing them the chance to fight back? So with that being said, Artemis seems like she'll eventually join our side this season. Moving on, we have the goddess of beauty and love, and the advocate for mortals among the gods, Aphrodite. Her NPC description says that she spent countless eons saving mortals from wrathful gods, and the gods from each other. But Zeus's current vendetta has proven to be an exhausting challenge. Before even seeing her in-game dialogue, we can tell that she's very likely to join the team of mortals to take down Zeus. Despite Zeus being her father, she's already been trying to stop his determination to wipe out all humans. Now, let's read what she has to say in-game. When asking about mortals, she talks about her past and how she became the advocate for mortals. Aphrodite knew things weren't fair, and ever since then, she's made an effort to let the other gods know. But when you ask about Zeus's past, this is where things get very interesting. She says that he wasn't always like this. He used to even give mortals gifts, until something changed in him and he's grown distant. She tried her best to keep peace between both Zeus and mortals, but now Aphrodite fears that no one can stop his wrath. When talking to her as Zeus, she says, "Why are you doing this, Father? Mortals deserve a fair chance." She also says to Hades, "You've always valued mortals, in your own way." That alone is very interesting. We don't have any dialogue with him currently, so this line is the only proof we have of his stance on mortals, at least for now. Similarly, Aphrodite says to Medusa, "I wish we could see eye to eye, because our goals are so similar." Last special interaction with Aphrodite is to Cerberus. "What do you think, Cerberus? Can we reason with my father?" She truly is trying to make peace between Zeus and the mortals, and to work with others to do so. This is why she is the perfect candidate for the alliance we'll be building over the course of this season. Overall, it's clear Aphrodite will be on our side, but what she mentions about Zeus suddenly changing is very interesting. I believe someone is working behind the scenes, but we'll get into that soon, so make sure to keep watching. Next up is Medusa, and let me tell you, she is not who you think she would be. Her NPC description describes her as humanity's stone-hearted defender. Many get the tale of her wrong, describing her as a monster slain by a great hero, but that myth is a complete lie. Medusa works tirelessly to avenge mortals wronged by the gods. When we talk to her in game, we can ask about her curse, and she responds by telling us that she views it as more of a power, and with it, she can help stand up for mortals against gods. In Medusa's special interactions, she tells Aphrodite that she'd love to trust her, but in the end, she's a god, just like the ones who have wronged her. She also has a couple lines she'll say to you when you walk up to her, like, if you ever feel like, oh, ending the rule of the Pantheon, give me a call. She also says, if you see Zeus, ask him to return my trinkets. He knows what he stole. That is something very interesting too, which we actually have some files about for later on this season. We'll revisit this once we get back to the Oracle quest lines. So once again, it's very clear Medusa will be joining our side too, and take much pride in it. The fourth and final Olympian for us to visit is Poseidon himself. In his NPC description, we're told he's the friendly face in the Pantheon, and would rather have beach parties than make war. When talking to him in-game, he really only wants to talk about the dolphin surfing championship he won, but regardless, he's friendly enough with the mortals that we can assume we'll have him on our side when the time comes. All in all, Aphrodite, Artemis, Poseidon, and Medusa all seem to be ready to help us take down Zeus later on in Season 2. Now that we've covered all of that overwhelming dialogue and taken a deep dive into the characters, we can talk a bit more in depth about the Oracle quests and attempt to figure out who she truly is and why Zeus has recently changed. Throughout the season, we will receive 4 parts to these quests. The first one, which is out now, is of course centered around our introduction to the Oracle and the storyline for the season. After being told what our goal is for Season 2, we travel around the island to prove our skills to the Oracle and show the gods we're ready to challenge them. Part 1 ends with us battling Ares and officially bringing war to the gods. Part 2 and Part 3 aren't yet in the files, but we do know that Part 2 will be centered around Aphrodite, which we can assume will give us a lot of information on her and end up with her joining our alliance. Part 3 will likely do the same thing, but this time focusing on Cerberus. Finally, we have Part 4, which is focused on Medusa. For some reason, we have a lot of information on these quests, unlike the unreleased Parts 2 and 3. During Part 4, we seem to be trying to build an alliance with Medusa by helping retrieve and return stolen items that Zeus took from her. If you recall, earlier in the video, we actually heard Medusa talk about these in her special NPC interactions. But aside from this, 2 secret styles are being worked on for both Aphrodite and Medusa. 2 characters will be trying to recruit. It's possible that when we recruit them, we'll receive a bonus style as a reward, but it's important to note that we don't have one like this for Cerberus. Whether that means we don't end up gaining his help or not, we'll have to wait and see. The final leak we have about the upcoming Oracle quest line is how the final quests will end. At the end of Season 2 and Part 4, Zeus will have established a giant hourglass that we'll be trying to destroy. To me, it sounds like it'll be counting down towards his attack on the island, and to wipe out all of mortal kind. But even after covering the Oracle quests, we're still left wondering, why is Zeus evil? Well, an important line from Aphrodite explained that he hasn't always been like this, meaning something recently must have changed him, or someone. That leads us to this mysterious Oracle. We know nothing about her, and when I say nothing, I mean nothing. It's likely we'll learn more about her as the season progresses, but based on Part 1, she's simply just a mysterious figure that's contacting us with a prophecy of hers. With that being said, what if she was the one that changed Zeus? Think about it like this. A hidden character tells us that she received a prophecy, and that that we must do everything she says in order to escape it. Zeus is suddenly evil and wants to end all mortal kind, despite having loved mortals before. So she has us get the Olympians together to turn on him and end his reign of Olympus. That sounds very suspicious to me. What if whoever this oracle is had some sort of vendetta against Zeus, and as a result, brainwashed him in order to slowly begin turning the Pantheon against him? We don't know what her history is or where she's from, but her sudden appearance, mysterious nature, and Zeus's attitude change makes me think it's all connected. For now, that's simply a theory, but the moment we get more information on her, we'll come back to this. On the other hand, the prophecy she's foretelling sounds a little familiar. The oracle is warning everyone of an upcoming apocalypse, seemingly caused by Zeus's wrath. Similarly to how we found out about the Greek theme months ago in advance from a concept art survey, we also have an apocalypse theme in a recent survey. And when I say we have an apocalypse theme, I mean we have dozens of outfits. Taking a look through these, you can find a ton of wrecked, dirty, scrappy, and metal-based outfits, which would only be the case if something happened to the island and turned it into a wasteland. It's been leaked that the Styx River, which is the green river of souls that stretches across the underworld, is going to corrupt all of the water inside and around the island. To me, it seems like Hades might be doing this to possibly try and halt Zeus's plan to wipe out all mortals. The reason why the god of the underworld would do such a heroic act? Well, if we actually succeed in convincing Cerberus to join us, then that may be our way into getting Hades on board too. Now, stay with me here, because we may already have an idea of what this apocalyptic island will look like. Old concept art from back in chapter 2 shows what looks to be a toxic wasteland. Obviously, this never ended up happening, but with Fortnite recently bringing in themes we've been waiting years for, like medieval and Greek mythology, European cultures, and so much more, an apocalypse seems very likely. They could very easily reuse this concept, since the Styx River is already going to be spreading across the entire island, and it's green, just like toxic waste. If the war with Zeus ends up happening at the end of this season, then it'd be the perfect catastrophic combination for a season 3 apocalypse theme. Oh, and not to mention the bunkers we now have across the island with very creepy sirens. But aside from that, that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, let me know by subscribing to the channel and liking the video. Consider using my code TLL the Reaper in the item shop if you'd like to support me. Until next time, keep it reapin'.
Zeus's wrath is upon you, and doom is on the horizon. You must prove the worth of humanity to Zeus and the guardians of Olympus, before the skies turn black. Finally, a fate worth foretelling. I do love a tragedy. Let's get you started. Good work. I mean, good work. Sorry, I leaned against the button. So Zeus wants to end mortal kind. Obviously, no immortal will be able to stop him alone. But if we can unite under the leadership of a true hero, humanity might survive his wrath. Prepare yourself. Your trials begin soon. Zeus's closest allies have seen you fight, and you're stronger than they thought. I see your path more clearly now. Darkened skies, choking dust, hope lost and found again. Or something like that. Prophecy's an art, not a science. Now is the time to build your alliance with the immortals. When an Olympian is ready to hear you out, I'll summon you. Be ready.